The Curse of Oak Island preview is the mysterious stone roadway over 500 years old. This week on The Curse of Oak Island, it's all about the stone roadway, and it looks like the guys might have an actual construction date, one that puts it at least 500 years old. According to one of the show's previews, it looks like the guys have enlisted another expert to have a look at the super mysterious stone roadway in the swamp. He appears to take a quick glimpse before confidently stating that's 16th century or before. That is exactly the time period the guys would be hoping for. It's long before the initial discovery of the money pit of 1795, and it puts it in the same time frame as when Spanish and Portuguese pirates were operating in the Atlantic, meaning there could be loads of booty. It could also be even older. To use one of Gary Drayton's favorite phrases, it could be medieval baby, which could tie into theories that the Templar Knights were burying ancient Christian relics, such as the Ark of the Covenant on Oak Island. Marty Lagina is usually seen as the money man and the principal decision-maker. However, this week, we see him grab a spade and start digging at the stone roadway. And judging by the preview, he finds something of real significance. We just don't know what it is yet. Oak Island team find artifact linking Samuel Bell to British royalty. In a week where many of us are talking about Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and the royal family, it seems that we can't even escape the furor on Oak Island, as the History Channel's episode description states. Asterisk looking at the preview, it appears as though the History Channel have mixed up Marty and Rick, as it's the latter who is searching with Gary. Easily done. We've all mixed up the brothers on at least one occasion. Samuel Ball was a freed slave who moved to Nova Scotia after the Revolutionary War and became a farmer and landowner on Oak Island. At the time of his death in the mid-19th century, Ball owned about 100 acres on the island and the mainland. Ball's quite considerable wealth has led some to believe that he may have discovered some of the fabled riches that were supposedly buried on the island. The Oak Island guys have assembled a team led by Laird Niven to examine the ruins around his former house to see if he buried any treasure. Now, judging by the episode description, it seems as though Laird has had Gary run his metal detector over the ground, and he's found something intriguing. It's not clear what the object is, but it looks heavy and metallic, and it appears to have some kind of a royal crest on it. Gary seems to think it might have come off Ball's own walking cane, but we'll have to wait for tomorrow night to find out exactly what it is and how it relates to Samuel Ball and the British royalty. What is the Samuel Ball artifact on Oak Island? Of course, the hunt for the money pit continues with the deep borehole drilling, and it looks like geologist Terry Matheson has found more wood. Yes, we know, everyone is getting fed up with finding just wood. But they need to find wood before they can find treasure, and Terry thinks he's identified the corner of a tunnel. At the start of the preview, Rick stated, "The story of Oak Island is the real treasure." Fingers crossed, he's totally wrong about that, and there's actually a big pile of gold and silver just waiting to be dug up. Maybe, just maybe, this week is the week. As another riveting season of The Curse of Oak Island unfolds, the anticipation is palpable on the shores of Nova Scotia. The Fellowship of the Dig, led by brothers Rick and Marty Lagina, is more determined than ever to unlock the island's age-old enigma. In this new preview, the team sets its sights on one of the most mystifying structures unearthed in recent years, the ancient stone roadway. But this isn't just any old path. With recent findings suggesting the possibility that it may be over 500 years old, the implications could send shockwaves through the entire legend of Oak Island. A road unlike any other. When the stone roadway was first discovered near the swamp, it appeared to be just another old construction effort, perhaps from previous treasure hunts or 19th century searchers. But it quickly became clear that this was something far older, more precise, and strangely deliberate. The path was tightly constructed, with layered stones that formed a wide, stable platform, something built for transporting something heavy, perhaps even treasure. As the crew has painstakingly excavated and studied the path over the past few seasons, it has only grown in both mystery and intrigue. It stretches across various parts of the island, cutting through seemingly unrelated zones and ending abruptly in swampy, muddy areas, as though someone once tried to hide it. But why? And more secrets. In the latest preview, viewers get a glimpse of the cutting-edge scientific analysis being done on materials pulled from the roadway. This season, the team has enlisted the help of geologists and dendrochronology experts to study not just the stones, but the organic materials found between them. Bits of wood, fragments of tools, and even traces of tar or pitch suggest that the road may have once been part of a much larger operation. Then comes the bombshell. Early results point to the roadway possibly being constructed in the late 1400s to early 1500s. That would put its origin decades before the commonly accepted timeline for European exploration of this part of the world. Could it be that someone was on Oak Island before John Cabot supposedly arrived in 1497? Could Portuguese, Templar, or even Chinese sailors have left their mark centuries earlier than we ever thought possible? Theories reignited. With the 500-year age theory gaining traction, the team begins to revisit some of the wilder, but never disproven, theories about Oak Island. One such idea is that the Knights Templar may have crossed the Atlantic with sacred relics and buried them on the island, building not just the infamous money pit, but also a hidden network of roads and tunnels to move supplies and treasures with secrecy. Another theory proposes that Portuguese sailors, skilled in stonework and seafaring, could have used Oak Island as a hiding spot for a royal or religious artifact. Historical maps and secretive documents long suggested that something important was hidden on a remote Atlantic island. Could this stone road be a literal path to those lost riches? Then there are those who believe in even older origins, that the roadway may have been part of a pre-Columbian transoceanic civilization or built by Norse explorers centuries earlier. As Rick Lagina says in the preview, we don't know where this leads yet, but it's definitely taking us back further in time than we ever imagined. A race against nature. But the dig isn't without its challenges. The swampy terrain around the road is unpredictable and often dangerous. Machinery gets stuck, weather delays the work, and the constant battle against erosion and waterlogging pushes the team's resources to the limit. Still, the Laginas and their partners press on, driven by a shared vision and decades of obsession. Every stone tells a story, Marty says in the episode. And this road, this might be the biggest chapter yet. They're not alone in their excitement. Archaeologist Laird Niven appears in the preview with a mixture of glee and awe. This is construction on a scale and with techniques we haven't seen in any colonial-era builds. Whoever did this knew what they were doing, and they had a purpose. Connecting the dots. As more segments of the roadway are uncovered, the team starts plotting a detailed map of its direction and construction changes. They notice that certain areas are wider, perhaps loading points or junctions, and that some stones bear unusual markings. One such stone, found near a swampy bend, features what appears to be a carved cross. Could it be Templar? Or perhaps a simple Mason signature? The preview hints at more to come. A sonar scan reveals anomalies beneath the road, possibly chambers or voids. There's talk of digging beneath it to see if anything is buried directly under the stones. In classic Oak Island fashion, this raises the stakes. Is the roadway not just a path, but also a lid, hiding something buried deep below? Beyond the road. While the stone road is the season's centerpiece, its possible age could alter how the team views every other artifact and structure found so far. The swamp, long thought to be a man-made feature, might have been altered specifically to obscure this road. The money pit could have been accessed through it. The recently unearthed stone warps and potential ship fragments could be related to a centuries-old docking system feeding into the roadway. As fans know, every time one mystery on Oak Island begins to make sense, 3 more appear. But that's part of what makes this series so compelling. It's a real-life puzzle scattered across centuries and continents, and each clue the Laginas uncover brings them closer to rewriting history. Conclusion: a path through time. As the preview draws to a close, Rick Lagina's voice offers one final reflection. When we first came to this island, we never thought we'd be chasing a road possibly built before Columbus ever reached the Americas. And yet, here we are. The Fellowship of the Dig stands, muddy and exhausted, on the ancient stones, staring down into the past. Is this the road to treasure, to truth, or simply the next chapter in an ever-deepening mystery? One thing's for certain, fans of the Curse of Oak Island won't want to miss what lies just ahead, on a path possibly more than 500 years in the making.